All right, let's jump to this first story from the National Post. Jordan Peterson suspended from Twitter. Says it might as well be a ban because I won't apologize. Quote, if I can't be let back on because I won't apologize, I could care less, Jordan Peterson told the National Post after Twitter suspended his account over a tweet about Elliot Page. I don't think Jordan Peterson said anything about Elliot Page.
Did not, no.
He was referring to an Ellen Page. On June 28th, the controversial author, I like how they say he's controversial, clinical psychologist and professor emeritus at the University of Toronto lost access to most of his Twitter account features because of a tweet he posted earlier in the week that used transgender actor Elliot Page's former name and suggested he had his breasts removed by a criminal physician. So he said, quote, I penned an irritated tweet in response to one of the latest happenings on the increasingly heated culture war front, Peter told the National Post. As far as Peterson is concerned, the temporary suspension might as well have been a ban because he would rather die than delete the tweet in question, he said. Does the tweet stay up when that happens?
I think so. I'm going to have to check it out.
Stays
Really?
up private, I think.
Private?
They want you to be the one to take it down, to admit you're
Which
wrong.
is so
Which is-
psychologically manipulative.
That's a very psychological move. It's like no one can see it, but you have to remove it yourself. Like we could remove it, but you have to do it, or you can't come back on.
Atone.
Very interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like making a kid go out into the woods and pick his own switch.
Yeah, it is very much so.
Yes,
Stop
but I think
giving
it's a
them
legal
ideas.
thing. I think it's a
Is it?
legal thing.
Is it?
Yeah, I think they're like, we can't tell
Their
you.
liability.
Yeah, like we can't remove it because then we're directly involved or something like
And
that.
also, then where's the proof? If
It's
you're like, hey,
probab-
where's your proof that I violated terms? There's nothing up.
Right, but then there's also, I mean, like Facebook's removed all sorts of stuff I put up over the years, and I'm sure Twitter's actually been fairly good to me on most stuff. But in terms of, I mean, I think they can remove stuff, but maybe only if it's like you said, violating the terms. And if this is something that doesn't technically violate their terms, they're like, okay, well, we're just going to make you remove it. I'm honestly not sure what it is. It also might be because he's so prominent. They don't want to remove it. They want him to remove it and make that, like atonement for it.
Yes.
I honestly don't know.
If this was a small account, they would have gotten nuked
They
in
just,
2
get
seconds.
nuked. Yeah.
Yep.
Gotta send a message.
But I think the principal issue as to why he got suspended was because he said criminal physician, I think is what he said, right? Is that what he said?
Yeah, that's what he said.
What's his exact
Criminal
tweet?
physician.
Right, and that's it right there. The insinuation of a crime or something is probably why they took it down.
Oh, okay.
Dead naming.
Yeah.
Yep. Not dead naming.
No?
No,
thought
I
that was
don't-
against their policy.
I don't know. I issued a tweet like so often when people get suspended for stuff like this, I will tweet something out
Similar.
in the same vein, but specifically like jumping over the landmines of the rules.
Yeah.
So that I can effectively say something similar, but to prove a point, kind of just like make the point. Yeah, I didn't get suspended. Maybe I don't know. Knock on wood. Spoke too soon. But after I heard that Jordan Peterson got suspended, I tweeted, "Who is Ellen Page and what does breast removed mean?"
Yeah.
So by posing it as a question, the issue is with YouTube and all these platforms, they don't want you attacking people. That's the real issue. They don't mind you criticizing people, but what Twitter, YouTube, and these other platforms have said, behind the scenes, or I mean, actually, they say it overtly, is their goal is a healthier conversation. So if you're being critical of someone, but you're doing it calmly, they're fine with it.
But if you start calling names and stuff, then that's when they. So you think it was more about the criminal accusation than about calling Elliot Ellen?
It's kind of vague, but the idea is these big social media platforms, they don't want to cultivate a culture around everyone throwing rocks and mud at each other.
Right.
So I talked to Google, and they told me, because we have Google partners. I actually know a ton of people work at Google. And they said, we're trying to just clamp down on people who are angry, nasty people who make their shows based on just being nasty and mean.
Right.
And they were like, obviously your show is nothing like that, so you have nothing to worry about. And I was like, I mean, I don't believe you, to be completely honest, but I appreciate you said that to me.
Right.
Just as a side note, I looked up the terms of service for Twitter, and it says they do prohibit targeting others with repeated slurs, tropes, other content that intends to dehumanize, degrade, or reinforce negative, harmful stereotypes. This includes targeted misgendering or dead naming. So I think that might have been what did it.
So that
for
might
him.
have been it.
Not sure.